On February 8, 2023, a strange video clip was uploaded on various social media platforms. At first, it seemed like just another creepy animated video that flooded the internet. However, this clip quickly exploded with millions of views on YouTube and took over TikTok. Initially, they were just isolated strange clips, but eventually, they started to connect and form a massive chain of videos. The battles became more intense, and by the 40th episode, the view count reached billions, completely dominating my feed. What on earth happened? Skibidi toilet. What is that? Let's find out together. Oh wait. The first clip depicting the record skip was posted on February 8, 2023 by a YouTube account named Alex Save Jesus. He is a true Russian with a scent of brown bear and heavy vodka. He gained fame through a series of parody videos, including a hilarious remix of What Does the Fox Say, titled What Does the Big Morgue Say? Well, his quirky animations and humor led him to his current popularity, especially with the release of the Skibidi toilet video, which garnered an astonishing 2 to 3 billion views on social media platforms. Although he hasn't provided any specific storyline explanations for this animated series, I hope to shed some light on what's going on here. So, what is Skibidi toilet? It's a video series revolving around toilet-headed creatures that incessantly sing a remix version of the Rubik to Me song by Team Bailand, first featuring Delhi. The catchy tune is accompanied by Mizuki's deadly Skibidi slap. Each video is only a few seconds long, but when combined, they create an intriguing story. I've divided this chain of videos into 4 parts, consisting of 11 episodes that the channel owner intentionally cut beforehand. They serve as the starting point of this peculiar world. In the beginning, we see a toilet with an unusual human-like structure, suggesting it's a creature mimicking humans rather than a natural human being. Its oversized head and abnormal facial expressions, coupled with the unique singing abilities, make for a bizarre sight. The final scene introduces a creature rushing towards the audience, probably indicating the fate of the main character not being so fortunate. Moving on to the second part, we encounter various creatures. The Lamp Genie, the famous character from the Half-Life game, Lula, after observing the muscular clone, and a female character with a burnt face whose identity remains unknown. After some investigation, it turns out that these characters were old props the channel owner had made 5 years ago. Perhaps they were added here to distract and fill the scenes, rather than drawing attention to Lula's original appearance. Now, in the third part, the Skibidis grow stronger and start parading on the streets. They unleash terror and consume humans, who are taken aback by their terrifying sight. People's reactions range from fear to hysterical laughter, and what's even stranger is that they sit on toilets while enjoying their breakfast, with contorted faces. It's as if they are voluntarily transforming into toilet-headed creatures or surrendering themselves to the toilets. Pay attention to this transition. Finally, in the fourth part, we meet a security toilet entering a restaurant. Did you notice anything peculiar in this scene? The people are dressed strangely, with some showing distorted and eerie facial features. Their laughter reaches an uncomfortable level. And here's the twist. They're sitting on toilet bowls while having their meals. It's bizarre to witness ordinary people dressed oddly, sitting on toilets, and having breakfast with distorted faces. Only one possibility comes to mind. This Skibidi gang continuously singing might be a curse or a form of hypnotism, affecting the victims. As the video progresses, those with weaker mental capacity eventually go mad. They find solace in the toilets, either by hiding in them or sacrificing themselves. It's astounding how these Skibidis know who's susceptible to their hypnotic techniques. When they successfully invade someone's mind, the victim sees a distorted version of themselves being attacked by ECGV. These haunting images could be the final moments before someone joins the ranks of the Skibidi toilet. Season 1 ends with the intention of the creator, Xkrasinos, wanting to tell a story about a group of monsters infiltrating and attacking humans through sneaky methods like toilets or attacking people within toilets. so it's clear that we know they will attack humans using a haunting song to mesmerize them or directly eliminate those who cannot be hypnotized. Up until this point, in episode 5, it seems that humans have not given the Sked an easy time. We have tanks, anti-aircraft missiles, helicopters, and everything else that showcases the pride of America to confront these monsters. However, the Skid also have special abilities. The third feature of theirs, other than their super fast movement, is that some of them can fly, and particularly the larger ones can carry smaller ones. When they take over the sky, even America will have to surrender. Moving to episode 6, although it's only a few seconds, we already see a terrifying scene where people who are dancing have a frozen expression and a bewildered smile. It's like a slaughterhouse, where the Skid bring their victims to their blade-wielding namesakes. These skeletons know how to DJ and use speakers to mess with the opponent's mentality. In the end, those who cannot be hypnotized will serve as the blade keepers. By episode 7, we see a person wearing black gloves who has heard all the familiar songs of the Skid. Strangely, he is not driven insane. He even discovers the weakness that if you press the button behind the toilet, the Skid will be defeated. If you pay attention, this app matches the identification GDP that appeared in episode 1. And the fate of this person is unlikely to be lucky enough to be permanently eliminated. Now in episode 7, we realize that our protagonist has either self-improved his body to no longer be affected by the dark's hypnotism, or he has enough power to resist the rough hypnotic attacks of the Toilet Gang. In my opinion, the former is more likely because in episode 3 we already saw that only 2 skeleton monsters could drive a very courageous person insane to face a horde of titan-sized skid bears without hesitation. In episode 6, it may be that our main character has improved a part of his body. Only in the next episode will we know for sure. Besides that, there is another secret that you may not be aware of. I was born in the early days, so I could not move like you can see. After 7 episodes, while the others are running and leaping around the city, fighting the police, this character remains stationary. Moving on to episode 9, we start to see that the camera-wearing warriors are joining to battle with their armored vehicles. The characteristic of these warriors is that they have a camera-equipped head, standing upright like humans and dressed like special agents. The only difference is that they still retain the necessary sensory organs like eyes, nose, and mouth. Now they have become cameras. This means that the mind-washing tricks of the Skid monsters no longer work, as the cameramen cannot become Skid anymore since their heads are gone. However, their bodies are still human, which leads to the fact that physical battles are now the game. But it seems that the cameramen still lose to the Skid because even if the head is a camera, the physical body is still human, so they were easily defeated at the end of episode 8. In episode 9, we see cameramen who, after their failure at the square, scattered and operated individually, focusing on disruption within the enemy's ranks. It seems like a revolution focused on disturbing the opponent's mentality, but it appears that the cameramen still lose to the Skid because the physical body is still human. Moving on to episode 10, we join a church filled with Skid followers listening to a titan preaching. At first glance, it seems pretty divine and holy, but pay attention to the glowing circle on the leader's head. It's a neon light ring, and when the cameras rush in to suppress him, he devours one cameraman with his fiery red demon eyes. I have a theory that this black garlic character disguised himself as a holy figure to establish a society to bring unfortunate victims to him for consumption, which is why he has grown to this enormous and powerful size. If my guess is correct, then you can see that he actually appeared in episode 2 and probably plays an important role in the army. So after being defeated by the main character in episode 7, he was preserved and left in the square. However, it seems that his fate is not as good as he thought, as the cameraman arrived just in time to take him down. In episode 11, we can see that it looks like the ultimate battle, and the cameraman alliance gathers to defeat the Skidibi screaming kids destroying bathrooms, and they launch an attack in unison. It seems like a beautiful ending, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. These Skidibi guys are quite sneaky. If in episode 11 we had to face a powerful titan named GDP and it took a lot to defeat him, now we're dealing with a super titan called YouTube Toilet Trio. The structure is perfectly coordinated with the two titans in the front attacking and the one in the back playing the role of area defender and smashing the infantry, making the battle seem even more futile. In this episode, it seems that both sides are taking it more seriously, as the two funny characters from Heel Life got crushed, ending their short-lived journey of Joe. On to episode 12, things are no less intense as the cameramen put up a fierce resistance. However, the appearance of a boss with the face of Remind from Half-Life and destructive laser eyes makes things even more hopeless for the cameramen. Episode 13, in this corner, the cameramen are determined to sacrifice themselves to take down the Toilet Trio. On the surface, cameraman Spider joins the battle, but being too far away, he can't focus his firepower, resulting in, well, eating a Bima character and ending up counting these things as just futile. In this episode, the cameramen finally manage to bring down a few with their heroic effort. The cameramen give their all, boarding the flying ships and taking down the Toilet Trio in the sky, leaving these monsters falling like rain. However, for some, this won't end so easily. These monsters keep flying and jumping, relentlessly wiping out the unfortunate cameras on the ground. Episode 14. Yet another futile battle, as a Skidibi toilet installs whistle launchers and sweeps both sides in just 15 seconds. Truly terrifying. Episode 15. With the cameramen now resorting to all-out suicide, in this case, luring dozens of toilet scrubbies in the neighborhood to have a feast and ending up dead themselves. However, before we celebrate prematurely, the main character up above is hit by a powerful security toilet, crashing straight to the first floor and brutally eliminating him. Episode 16. There is a new plan unfolding. Cameras are now strategically placed inside toilets, with bombs rigged to serve as suicide bombers. After successfully infiltrating and drawing the attention of the toilet professors, they explode, killing as many as possible. However, there is still one escapee, driven by madness. These monsters continue to fly and jump, wiping out the unlucky cameras on the ground. Episode 17. In this episode, we witness the overwhelming power of the camera titan as he finally clashes with the giant toilet titan, which is created with a perfect structure. But when it comes to actual strength, the Skidibi is undoubtedly the strongest in the film. This character possesses both agile movement and destructive laser eyes and, above all, is extremely friendly. This is indeed the power that can balance the scales. Moving on to episode 18. The situation is becoming increasingly chaotic. The lead skids are completely overpowering the human side, being bigger, faster, and with some extremely brutal bots. At least, there must be a savior here, right? The camera titan officially appears, standing at 20 meters tall. Just one shot and a giant Skidibi-less toilet is destroyed. This could be called the strongest boss in the film thus far. Now, to episode 19. We witness the absolute devastation that the camera titan is capable of, sweeping through the Skidibi forces. However, after a face-to-face encounter, Skidibi, this is the strongest boss in the film so far. When it comes to a desperate struggle, the cameramen are at a disadvantage, both in terms of firepower and troops. On to episode 20, we can still see the absolute wiping out ability of the camera titan, but when he has to face Skidibi, things get even more intense. Skidibi is able to move flexibly and has laser eyes that can destroy everything. This is definitely one of the strongest bosses in the film. Moving on to episode 21. It seems that the chaos is beginning to ease, and the cameramen have had time to repair the camera titan. After the encounter with the cursed remake, things are going somewhat smoothly until the skeleton toilets rush in to feast on the cameramen. However, they are not feasting on food, but on camera titans. The situation seems dire until suddenly, two cameras have successfully climbed onto the back of giant ants. They look at their friends in a terrifying way before turning to gold themselves. You can even say they're turning into golden toilet paper, at least. They can still take down this GPS guy. It's safe to say this is one of the strongest bosses from the beginning to now. Finally, we encounter a new boss in episode 23, a five-headed skate. It seems like there's no hope left as it devours the creature that leads the pack, Yemen. But suddenly, Takamura succeeds in overpowering the monster and manage to liberate themselves from the clutches of the toilet trio, causing them to run away in fear. Thus, ends episode 23. Star of episode 24. The beginning is still as we see the cameramen being overwhelmed by a bunch of beep faces in the city. Some people are being swallowed, others are being ambushed. And the main characters are facing a multiple-headed SCP who has some strange intentions, like attempting sexual harassment, but just as things were reaching a climax, I had to abruptly stop because of an unexpected interruption. I apologize for the interruption, folks, but the reason for it was the sudden appearance of a new, more powerful group called the Speakermen. These guys have speakers attached to their heads and a skill set that makes even the SCPs lose their ability to communicate. It seems like they have made some advancements since the incident in episode 21 where the toilet SCP could emit sound for rescue. But let's be honest, how are they going to call for help when the loudspeaker sound cancels out any verbal communication? Well, that's how they won this episode. And now we welcome the Speaker Man to episode 25. In this episode, we finally discover the skateboarding ability of the stone skeleton toilet. Thanks to the Speaker Man, the speaker group uses a dead toilet to move around, leading all the toilet SCPs into a trap that had been set. This episode really emphasized the need to be cautious and think before confronting these powerful entities. But just as we thought things were settled, a giant speaker titan with spider-like markings came in and effortlessly wiped out an entire squadron of SCPs in one powerful blast. Talk about taking it up a notch. Can't wait for episode 26. The Speaker Man group is now surpassing the SCPs, even becoming stronger than the main characters. They're like John Wick, single-handedly taking down a whole platoon before getting overpowered by a giant red titan, who appears to be in a compromising position, out of nowhere. Though, a speaker titan arrives to save the day, rescuing both sides. However, it seems there's still one more enemy left to deal with, someone I suspect might be in an upgraded form, probably a higher level SCP. Looking at their unique ability to cover their faces, it seems likely, and that's when we realize this isn't over yet. Just when we thought we couldn't handle any more excitement, a new hero emerges. This guy is equipped just like a camera titan, not to mention how cool he looks. Ground-shattering punches are exchanged between this guy and the Titan security toilet, resulting in the Titan turning into solid gold, resembling a king sitting on a toilet throne. Episode 27 definitely starts with a bang. Episode 28 brings us to a seemingly peaceful intersection guarded by a group of Speaker Man soldiers, as they search for a seemingly casual skeleton toilet from the Liero. Little did we know, they were actually training to take on the Skyborn Speaker Man. Though when the mini-camera men and the group combine forces, it's like adding shrimp paste to a shrimp paste it's just too spicy to handle. Episode 29 opens with a scene so calm at an intersection, guarded by a Speaker Man army in search of a mediocre skeleton toilet from the Liera. This guy bravely stands in front of all the Speaker Men without fear. Initially, we thought he might have watched too much TikTok, resulting in him losing his mind. And is our assumption correct? He's truly a little crazy, and his speed is unmatched. Plus, he's also dealing with the instability of the 4 network in Vietnam. It's like he's flying at supersonic speed, effortlessly taking down a whole squad within seconds. Nowadays, the game just keeps getting harder as the skillful toilets continue to evolve. Episode 29 ends with them winning, capturing all the land and taking it to the museum. Game over. In episode 30, the scene starts with 2 SCP monsters, the head speaker monster and the creature spitting out something from its mouth, attacking a cameraman. The result? The cameraman seems to have been mentally controlled and has gone mad. Episode 30 takes a dark turn as we face another hopeless situation. Our team is outnumbered by the controlled cameramen and the overwhelmingly powerful speaker toilets. This doesn't look good at all. And that brings us to the end of Season 10, with only 2 parts remaining, but perhaps it's already been quite a journey, and my voice can't hold up any longer. I hope you've enjoyed this series and stay tuned for more on my Sontofi channel. This could be a fresh start for us, where we can gather more members and expand our universe. For now, it's time to say goodbye and see you soon. Bye bye.